Oh, and Pearson put through by Greenoff. Jones is after it. Pearson shot, goal!
And welcome again to the big match. As you know only too well, it's been a very watery weekend and matches were off, right, left and centre yesterday, including a couple that we'd planned to bring you. But still, a quick chase around the country has given us 3 excellent games for you today. Our main match comes from the second division, Fulham against Spurs. We stay in the second division for a 7-goal game and a really good one between Blackpool and Blackburn, and then the team they're all talking about, first division leaders Nottingham Forest against Wolves. At Fulham, there were frolics in the mud like this.
Away goes Peter Taylor, 1 against 1 as he faces the keeper. Fulham in pursuit. He's gone past them. Oh, and he slipped. Oh, my word. What a tragedy for Peter Taylor.
At Blackpool, there was a special presentation to striker Bob Hatton in recognition of 3 hat-tricks he'd scored this season. Came from the Blackpool chairman, and you'll see what effect that had on Bob Hatton. Meanwhile, at Nottingham, you've guessed it, Brian Clough presented for the 3rd successive time this season with the Bell's Whisky Manager of the Month award. And we shall be looking at Brian's team a bit later on. We're also going to be looking at your letters, where this week we bring you a load of old rubbish, which comes from Germany. Certainly it wasn't a load of old rubbish yesterday at Fulham, though, and that's where we go now.
No, that's not the pitch, but just in from the Thames, it's still very wet indeed, after a day of constant, unrelenting rain at Craven Cottage. But even in the rain, this is one of the most pleasant of grounds, helped by the charm of the River Thames running behind that new riverside stand. Indeed, in 7 weeks' time, the boat race is fought along this very stretch of the river. But it's on the pitch where today's battle takes place. The Fulham team unchanged. It's the one that drew a fortnight ago with Bristol Rovers. They've not played since. They're recovering well from all the dramas off the field in recent months and have won 5 of their last 8 league games. Richard Money, transferred from Scunthorpe, is a new face for big match viewers, now establishing a midfield position for Fulham. Though nobody, I'm sure, is going to be going harder today than 22-year-old John Margerison, a Spurs youngster who was allowed to leave White Hart Lane 3 years ago. Spurs have had a scare this week. 4 of their players went down with colds: Terry Naylor, Neil McNabb, John Duncan and Peter Taylor, but they've all recovered and they've lost only 1 of their last 15 league games. And for Don McAllister, a good spell. He's in the centre of the defence now that Keith Osgood has gone, and he's been doing a good job there for Tottenham. The referee today is Derek Nippard. He comes from Christchurch in Dorset. And yes, the rain is still thundering down as we await the start. So there we go then, Spurs attacking the goal to our left in the all-yellow strip. Fulham best identified, if you're watching in black and white, with the black shorts. Spurs having beaten Fulham 1-0 when the teams met earlier this season at White Hart Lane. Don McAllister in very quickly again there for Tottenham. It's a good ball here for John Pratt. From Glenn Hoddle, beautifully played. Pratt playing it in again, but John Lacey there for Fulham. Jay Armstrong doing the pointing, Northern Ireland international, striker. And Spurs substitute today. Barney, the physio, and Johnny Wallace alongside him. Naylor sweeping that cross in again there. Good jump though by Lacey. Pratt getting the loose one. Now will he fire one in there? Duncan. And offside. Linesman had his flag up straight away. And the ball fell nicely for John Duncan into the back of the net, but flag was up, whistle had gone, goal disallowed. The rain still sweeping down here. Very, very difficult conditions, but both sets of players at the moment giving us a very good game of football. Strong with a throw for Fulham. very much involved. And there's a ball for Duncan. Evans is the Fulham man, and Duncan's gone past him. Now, has he got people up in support? Taylor's right in there, and Taylor! Beautifully taken, and it was always on for Tottenham. From the moment John Duncan outwitted Ray Evans and got to the byline and pulled it back with Taylor coming in fast, it was always on, and Taylor stretched out his legs superbly, and the ball was in the back of the net. Fulham nothing, Spurs 1, 10 minutes gone, Peter Taylor the scorer. But unquestionably it was John Duncan who scored so many for Tottenham, who made this one for them at Fulham today. Gale. Margerison swept for Les Strong. Well, Barry Daines was down and he had to grab that fairly closely to him because Evanson was coming in quickly. To Hoddle. Pratt to Hoddle. Holmes in a lot of space on this side. Picked out well by Hoddle. Deep cross again. Margerison making a bit of a mess of it. Hoddle finding Peter Taylor now. Glenn Hoddle. Now can Duncan get on to their end of that chip? Oh my word, that could so easily have been Terry Bullivant pulling through his own goal. Came roaring in there and put it behind for the corner. Just a little bit of anxiety in that Fulham defence at that moment. Now, more anxiety coming their way as Pratt takes his corner. Backward header, over the top from John Pratt. Jerry Payton feeling just a little bit exposed there once or twice. And certainly there's been a lot of activity in his penalty area so far in this opening 17 minutes. Lacey keeping an eye on Lee, two very tall men. Margerison for Fulham. Strong. Mitchell. Always capable of goals and finding a good pass there for Evanson. A long cross now towards Greenaway. Played back this time for Mitchell. Well, he hit that one, but he went straight at McAllister. Now can Greenaway turn it back again? Straight at Holmes this time. Can Tony Gale turn it back again? Mitchell again right in there. And play on, said the referee. And McNabb is only too happy to do that with a long, long pass to get Peter Taylor on his way. Duncan's up in support, so too is Colin Lee. But he really didn't need any support as he whipped in that cross just past the post and into the side netting. Well, Lee and Duncan were right up there. Peter Taylor decided to go on it on his own. And into the side netting it went. Now Brian Greenaway. Evanson and Mitchell are up there. And Naylor deciding to dummy that one away from Mitchell and allow it to go. But Mitchell in possession now for Fulham. Margerison with so little space there. And Hoddle right with him. And he's got a corner. Richard Money up there, number 6. Number 8, Tony Gale, but John Lacey has gone right onto the goal line in making a run towards the near post. In fact, number 5, there he is, the big man. Well, Gale almost got his head to that. And in the end, it was Jimmy Holmes who forced Fulham away. Money. It's gone off Pratt. Daines came running for that one, and Spurs might be in a bit of trouble here. Margerison, oh, great save though by Barry Daines. Well, it's still not away yet. It will come back in a moment to Perryman. And he got it away. And a lovely piece of play on the turn by Margerison as that ball came into him, and a great save by Barry Daines. Now it's with Mitchell. And somehow they got that one away as well. Chipped in again and just over the top that time from Margerison. Let's have a better look at that first piece of action of his, because as the cross came over, it really was a beautiful shot on the turn, and Daines was away out of his goal on one side, sprang to the other side and kept it out. And then just a moment ago, another good Fulham raid where Margerison finished by just curling it over the Tottenham crossbar. Two fair-looking moves by Fulham. Greenaway's header, but straight for Perryman, and Perryman made hard work of that as well. And the back pass from Holmes, and he's put Mitchell in, and it was oh so close. Jimmy Holmes, you saw there with his arms in the air saying, "I'm sorry about that one," and that back pass really put Mitchell in with a chance. Daines came scrambling off his line and got just enough touch on it to put it wide. So a corner for Fulham, coming back hard into this game now, but still a goal down. And the whistle had gone, the flag was up. Must have been an offside on that. Ball must have gone over the byline or something, because it's a kick which he's taken from the corner of the 6-yard area by Barry Daines. Needless to say, with a lot of Tottenham supporters tucked in underneath that roof of the stand. And I imagine a few Queen's Park Rangers and maybe a few West Ham supporters with their game called off just a couple of miles away down the road. And a free kick to Fulham now. So McAllister going back into the centre of the defence. He played there with Bolton, of course, and a couple of times with Mike England for Tottenham, but it's his new role there now since the transfer of Keith Osgood to Coventry. And now, away goes Peter Taylor, 1 against 1 as he faces the keeper. Fulham in pursuit. He's gone past them. Oh, and he slipped. Oh, my word. What a tragedy for Peter Taylor. Everything about it was right. Suddenly free, and Fulham in pursuit, faced only by Jerry Payton, and he got past Payton and then slipped and then lost everything that he'd gained. Mitchell on the far side. Now it's Bullivant. Now it's Gale with Evans free on this side. Now calling for an accurate cross again, hitting a little lower this time and against Jimmy Holmes for the corner. So a corner for Fulham. Greenaway with it. Daines under a lot of pressure. Well, how on earth did they not get that in? Well, John Mitchell cannot believe that he didn't put that one in. And John Evanson was there as well. What a lot of scurrying in that Tottenham 6-yard area. And Spurs still leading a 1-0. Long kick by Don McAllister. The high jump there by Richard Money. Margerison. Strong. Strong. Mitchell. He couldn't change direction quickly enough with Bullivant. And now Lee trying to get Taylor through. There's going to be a collision there, and it's Jerry Payton, and chance now for Duncan. And Payton dribbled it back into the box to pick it up. Well, that was always going to be a four-sided collision, and heaven knows where it would go as they all collided on the edge of the box. And it fell for John Duncan, and he couldn't force it home, and in the end it was Jerry Payton outside the penalty area who dribbled it back in and then fell on it. And now a chance, shoved off The ball, surely, that looked a penalty to me. Well, that looked a clear-cut penalty to me. Certainly seemed to be a push in the back from where I was sitting, but clearly not from where referee Nippard was standing. Peter Taylor. That's an interesting cross. No, it's not. It's gone behind. Couldn't quite pull it back enough. It's a goal kick to Fulham. I think in spite of the conditions, as we come towards half-time, the crowd can honestly look back on 45 minutes of good, honest entertainment and quite a few thrills to go with it, in spite of the conditions. And indeed, there goes the half-time whistle, with Spurs leading with Peter Taylor's goal, 1-0, which he scored after 10 minutes and came so close to adding a second one, taking a word from Les Strong there. A tremendous run of his, and then the trip after he'd actually gone past the keeper. And Fulham, I'm sure, still claiming that John Evanson might have had a penalty in the closing stage of that first half. But a half-time score at rainy Craven Cottage then. Fulham 0, Spurs 1, and we'll be right back with you soon. Welcome back then to Craven Cottage, where at least the rain at the moment seems to have eased off a little bit. Spurs leading by 1-0, scored by Peter Taylor after 10 minutes, and now Fulham in the white shirts and black shorts attacking the goal to our left. And just about all the players, in fact, at least have changed their shirts during the half-time interval to clean themselves up a little bit. Fulham there with Mitchell getting the header, Evanson hoping to head it back again. Oh, and a nice acrobatic overhead kick by Steve Perryman, getting the danger away for Tottenham. Hoddle calmly playing this ball now for Taylor. McNabb forcing it forward now for Lee, and he must have been just inside that Fulham half, but only just, and was offside. Money. Now Greenaway, cross towards Mitchell, and Perryman getting it away. There's Taylor, Naylor, and now McAllister, telling Lee to run on, and then playing it short and square here for Naylor. Hoddle, a little chip through there for Duncan. Will it go over Payton's head? Oh. Well, Hoddle did well there, and Duncan turned well. It wanted just a little more firmness on it because Payton was off his line and found it difficult to turn, but he managed to turn enough to grab that ball before it went over the line. McAllister, Hoddle. Again, Naylor willingly making that run for him. Margerison got there first. Not too happy with the way that Naylor whacked into the back of him there either. I don't think I should have been as well. Quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Spurs still leading 1-0. Duncan now on the ball for Tottenham. Lee. Oh, and he very nearly played that for McNabb. Instead it comes to Naylor. All the time in the world to get a good cross in. And Lee was right in there again. Here's his Hoddle. A curler. Whoa, just so close. Referee coming up to have a word, and that's nice to see. He's enjoying it as much as anybody. And Hoddle, aware again of what was on, found the skill, but not quite the range. McNabb. Fulham throw. Well, with Bolton not playing today, it would be psychologically very useful for Spurs to get a couple of points in that challenge at the top of the second division. At the moment leading 1-0. Gale played on for Evanson. Greenaway, Mitchell and Margerison. Evanson shot and it called and it got. A very good save indeed from Barry Daines. Evanson really striking that ball so well. And Daines bringing off another very good save indeed. And a good catch. Looks as though Fulham are going to take Terry Bullivant off any moment now, and Tony Marnie is coming on. That's a goal kick. A little over a quarter of an hour to go. So Terry Bullivant come off. In fact, he's already gone off to the dressing room. And Tony Marnie comes on. Spelt Mahoney, but he tells me he likes to be called Marnie. McNabb. Hoddle. Duncan. Oh, Hoddle linked up nicely again with this attack. Little touch through there for Taylor. On for Hoddle again. Oh, delightful. But also disallowed. Well, the skills were undeniable, even though in the end they were illegal. At least the move was. It was a lovely passing movement for Tottenham, involving Duncan, involving Hoddle all the way, and a touch from Taylor. And Hoddle's final shot into goal. Margerison, the referee held it up as long as he could. I think he wanted to play the advantage there, but he felt that Margerison had lost it, and then the Fulham number 11 got to his feet and carried on. So it's a free kick for Fulham. Money with it. Now Strong, and Spurs have pulled everybody back. So it'll be quite a task for Fulham to find some way past it all. Evanson knocking it in, and they've done it! Greenaway! Well, that's a shaker for Tottenham. It really seemed that they had got this sewn up, and they pulled everybody back from that free kick. And it was crossed in there by Evanson, allowed to go a long, long way. There was Brian Greenaway on the far side, and past Barry Daines it went for Fulham 1, Spurs 1. Scorer, well, that was John Evanson who made it. The scorer was Brian Greenaway. And it goes back to Jerry Payton. Well, Bobby Campbell can afford to be a little bit relieved. That looks as though they might have saved a point. Greenaway once more. Stopped, but at the expense of a throw. The rain sweeping down again. A game with seconds to go, and standing all square at 1-1. Well, it might come for Mitchell again. It might come for Evanson again. It might come for Lacey. And that caught Perryman, and that might have gone anywhere. Strong now. What a finish we've got. And they've got a corner, Fulham. They'll have time to take it, but not much more. Jerry Payton at the other end is up and down his penalty area, keeping himself warm and fresh, and with an eye what's going on at the other end as that corner comes in again for Fulham. And still Spurs haven't got it away. But that's the final whistle, and it finishes 1 each, with Peter Taylor having got the goal that put Spurs ahead in the first half. And it looked that Spurs had got a pretty firm grip on that game until young Tony Marnie, who just seen him go out of the picture there, nodded on that kick from John Evanson, and Brian Greenaway was there at the far post to get an equaliser with 5 minutes to go for Fulham. So a lot of credit to both sides, battling away through very difficult conditions. They got worse as the game got on, as the pitch got muddier and the ball became more difficult to move. In the end then, a final scoreline at a very, very damp Craven Cottage. Fulham 1, Spurs 1.
Well, in spite of the conditions, a good afternoon's work by both teams. That point put Spurs on top of the second division on goal difference from Bolton Wanderers, who didn't play yesterday, of course. And the feeling in the Tottenham camp is that a good February will see them on the threshold of the first division, at home to Blackpool next Saturday, away to Luton, and then at home to Orient are their remaining February games. Fulham, with young players like Tony Gale, Richard Money and John Margerison now under long contracts, and John Mitchell yesterday off the transfer list, I think are fast turning the corner. And it's worth pointing out that the 24,000 crowd yesterday brought something like £26,000 through the gate. That's good going. But should Fulham have had a penalty just before half-time? And why was Spurs' goal by Glenn Hoddle, that really would have wrapped it all up in the second half, why was that one disallowed? First, the penalty. It's John Evanson, the man who is pushed by Don McAllister, it seems to me at any rate. Judge for yourself now. There, it seemed to me to be a push. Some people say that Evanson dived, but to me that was the momentum of a push. And I think maybe Fulham were very unlucky not to have got a penalty there. But what about the Glenn Hoddle goal that was disallowed? Some delightful build-up here. Takes that little pass back again, but as we stop it there, I think you can see that he's at least at lead level with the last line of defenders. Delightful finishing though by Hoddle, but the referee and the linesman absolutely right to knock that one out. Spurs, I think, looked the better side for most of that game yesterday, but of course at Fulham you can never take anything for granted. Just a quick medical report on Terry Bullivant, the Fulham lad with blood all over his shirt. He indeed had 7 stitches in a head wound after the game. That was an accidental clash with Glenn Hoddle. Now we come to our second match, and for this we stay in the second division for Blackpool against Blackburn Rovers. You remember it was the day Blackpool striker Bob Hatton received an award for 3 hat-tricks this season, so it was already a very special day for him. The pictures come from Granada Television, the commentator's Gerald Sinstadt, and the action is all about goals and goal-mouth incidents and football played at a tremendous pace. Blackpool in the white shorts.
Taken well on his chest by Walsh. Hatton, who's dribbled his way past 2 and crossed well. Walsh's header off, and Chandler's shot brilliantly saved by Butcher. That was a fine move, starting with Bob Hatton, who jinked his way past 2, crossed well, Walsh gave the unselfish header, Chandler hit it beautifully, and Butcher made a brilliant save. 11 minutes gone, and that was the chance of the game so far. But no blame can attach to Chandler. Fine save by Butcher. And Butcher under pressure again, punch out helped on by Taylor. Waldron's header chased in by Walsh, and he's lobbed the goalkeeper. Hatton was there and put it wide. Defence caught standing still, and Walsh found himself free. The side header gave the chance to Hatton, but all he could do was put a head to it and couldn't guide it inside the post. Bailey has made a good break here. Scooped inside well for Bailey again. And Bailey's shot! Beautifully saved! And Ward now coming to the rescue of Blackpool, as Butcher did for Blackburn. But credit there to John Bailey. Fazakerley had rescued a bad ball from Brotherston. Bailey made a lot of ground, took the return pass from Metcalf and hammered it, and it looked destined for goal until Ward made his dive. Here's the Blackburn corner. Waddington was at the near post, and Hargreaves almost got it in, and it was cleared off the line, I think, by McEwen. And now here's Ronson. Chance again at the other end. Ronson put on by Walsh, and Ronson has put it wide. 13 and a half minutes gone, and in the last 3.5 minutes we could easily have had 5 goals. Clearance has gone straight to Metcalf. Now it's Brotherston. In comes Harrison. Walsh playing it wide for Hatton to chase, but Waddington is there first. Shouldered off it. Hatton has made room for the shot and scored! Now, it's not often that you see a good old-fashioned shoulder charge, but that one was quite fair, shoulder to shoulder, Hatton against Waddington. Hatton won the ball, came back inside, made the angle, and although Butcher got a hand to the ball, Hatton scored the goal he deserved, his 19th of the season. Chandler. Hatton and Walsh in the middle, the cross deflected for another corner. Waldron's corner, headed away by Brotherston, helped back in by Chandler. Hatton, 2-0. And very easy for Bob Hatton, who begins to think about his 4th hat-trick of the season. Blackpool may need to start saving up for another silver salver. The clearance by Brotherston was helped straight back into the box. Hatton was onside and from close range didn't have much difficulty in beating Butcher. Corner swung very deep this time, headed back in by Hatton, and in again, and the shot by Ronson hit Hurd, and the second one was deflected over for another corner. Harrison going out to take it. Not often that you see fullbacks as regular corner takers. Waldron drops back from midfield to cover when Harrison is up there. And the goalkeeper came for that and didn't get it! And Hatton has made it now! Harrison's corner, the goalkeeper coming for the punch, didn't make it, and when the ball was nodded on, Hatton had the easiest of chances. Metcalf. Wagstaff. 2 men waiting to tackle. He's past Ronson, ran into the second one, who was Gardner. Chandler, chased back by Bailey. What good pace by the fullback. But now he's robbed, and here's Walsh. Hatton, number 4! And that's the best of them yet. Bailey had done so much good work there, but then he was robbed by Walsh. Walsh, who's done so much unselfish work, hit over a beautiful cross, but what a magnificent header it was from Hatton. Hatton. That's a beautiful ball from Hatton too, finding Gardner. And Gardner gives a good ball, but it was handball. No, Chandler is allowed to get away with it. And Hatton has come onto it for his 5th! Oh, he's going riot here! You've got to say he shouldn't have been entitled to it, but my word, he made 2 fine contributions. A magnificent pass in the first place to Gardner, but Gardner's pass on to Chandler was definitely handled, but possibly on the blind side of the referee. It was played in then to Hatton, and Hatton put it in the net. But below me there is a linesman with his flag up. Jim Smith, the Blackburn manager, is on the field there with the bald head. The linesman is having words with the referee, and the referee has disallowed the goal. Well, justice is done. Bob Hatton will obviously be disappointed, but one has got to say that there was definitely a handball there. Third forward, chased by Taylor. One of these never-give-up players, Gordon Taylor. Well, he said never give up. It looked there as though he decided that all he might get was a free kick. And it looked a pretty blatant dive to me. He got the cooperation of Mr. Johnson. Hurd. Waddington. Oh, Hargreaves got in the way. Waddington puts it in now, though. Goalkeeper pointing, complaining about the cover. I think he was entitled to, but Waddington also was entitled to expect his second chance. His first shot looked as though it might have been goal-bound. It struck Hargreaves and was deflected. Taylor pulled it back, and Waddington made no mistake with the second attempt. Now Bailey. Ronson chasing him, and Gardner. And out comes Bailey with the ball. Down he goes, but no penalty. Now, that, I think, might turn out to be one of the most contentious decisions of the afternoon. Mr. Johnson interpreted it quite clearly as a dive. He made the now familiar diving motions, and away goes Hatton, with just the goalkeeper to beat, and unselfishly sets it up for Walden. So, this is not Blackburn's afternoon. Blackburn could have been back in the game 4-2 from a penalty, and instead they are now 5-1 down as Alan Waldron scores his first goal for the club. Hatton it was who broke. Looked as though he might have gone on to see if he could get that fifth goal for himself. Unselfishly offered it to Waldron, and Waldron took it. Wagstaff. Metcalf has made a run. Wagstaff trying to find a way round, but well blocked. Hart. Handball. And he is given the penalty. I don't think there can be really very much argument about that, although Thompson for the moment seemed to think that he was getting away with an indication that he chested the ball. Kevin Hurd to take the kick. Bob Ward on the line, goes the wrong way, and Hurd scores. Goal number 4 of the season for Hurd, the second of the match for Blackburn Rovers. Hart. Gardner. Clearance by Waddington. Clever bit of work by Harrison. McEwen back to him. Waldron. Walsh is onside. Hatton is herring into the middle. Could there be a fifth in it for him yet? Over it comes, and in it goes! He's got his fifth! Oh no, the linesman's not going to let him have it. The linesman has got a flag for offside. So Bob Hatton shakes his head. Failed again. Only 4 this week, Goss.
Amazing game, 4 goals for Bob Hatton, 2 disallowed, and after the game, Paul Doherty spoke to him.
Bob, was it the presentation you had before the game that put you in the hat-trick for getting goals again?
Possibly. I think it's a matter of confidence, you know. Having scored 3 hat-tricks before today's game, my confidence was pretty high, and sort of tried to take it on from there.
Have you scored as many as 4 in a game before?
Yes, I scored 4 for Carlisle against Portsmouth some years ago.
So you might have had 6. How did you feel when those 2 were disallowed?
A little bit disappointed, especially with the first one was disallowed, because I got a lot of satisfaction from it, because I had to bring the ball down, turn and fire it in the back of the net. So I was a little bit disappointed when he chalked it off.
Did you feel the Blackburn defenders were a little bit tender or soft with you today?
Not really. There were some rugged tackles going in, and I've got the scars to prove it. They're a rough, hard team, and as well as being a good footballing side, of course. But it's very hard game indeed.
Is this your best season for scoring goals?
No, it's. I think my best season is 27 at Birmingham, but if possible, I'd like to beat that total.
Well, Bob is now on 22, so he's really on target to have his best ever season. And clearly he's also going to be a fellow that Spurs are going to have to watch out for at White Hart Lane next Saturday. But as Crazy Corner, as we come to a remarkable story from Germany concerning the great Franz Beckenbauer, captain of the West German side that won the 1974 World Cup. And indeed, Franz has just about swept the board for the game's greatest honours. He's now playing with the American club New York Cosmos. He was and still is a legend in his own land. And if you doubt it, what about this? Most people, of course, just happy to get his autograph or his photograph. But his dustman in Munich hit on a better idea.
Das Material des heutigen Künstlers. Original Laub aus Kaisersgarten. Der Mensch kann dir ins Auge gucken und lügen.
And having emptied that dustbin onto that sheet of paper, he then selects the various items of rubbish that he'd like. Things like cornflake packets, toothpaste tubes, and other things besides. I think you'll see a coat hanger in a moment. And what he does, this enterprising dustman, is that he makes a display of all this rubbish, and believe it or not, he then sells it. A flower from Mrs. Beckenbauer's vase.
So. Klar, das ist doch ein Volltreffer hier.
So then he takes it along to the local museum, where he has a regular exhibition of Beckenbauer's rubbish. And you've just got to believe it, that people come along and buy up everything that he can put down of Beckenbauer's rubbish. Well, you may regard that as a load of old rubbish, but I think you've also got to admit that it's rubbish that pays off for that particular Munich dustman. Next, one of the nicest stories to come into Crazy Corner, something I suppose every father with a footballing son dreams about. Dave Huddard, who played in goal for the Kent club Ramsgate some 620 times, did so again on Christmas Eve, he's 41 now, against Tunbridge Wells in a Kent League game. And in the Tunbridge Wells goal that day, Dave's 18-year-old son, Dave. And here they are before the game. Mr. W.A. Sylvester, a director of Ramsgate, wrote wondering if this was unique and worthy of an entry in the Guinness Book of Records, remembering, of course, that it was, after all, a senior competition. The score? Oh yes, honours were even amongst the Huddards that day. It finished 2-2. And we've also had a letter and a card from across the world from two of England's cricketers touring New Zealand. Graham Roop of Surrey and his chum, who used to play for Surrey, of course, now the Warwickshire fast bowler Bob Willis, as they put on the card, otherwise known as Cyril and Goose. Well, they wanted a reminder of the football they missed back home, and of course the big match can be seen in New Zealand, and I've seen them often enough at Selhurst Park during the winters here to believe that they must be Crystal Palace fans. Well, the day they'll remember, along with all Palace fans, is that famous 5-0 victory over Manchester United in 1972.
Mulligan. Don Rogers. Oh, nicely inside the ball back for Mulligan. Here's a chance and a goal! Scored by Mulligan, but made beautifully by Don Rogers. Oh, played inside for Mulligan. And another goal! Danny Mulligan second. Whittle. Rogers, and he's onside, Don Rogers. 6 at one side now. That's there. That's number 3. goes up. And Whittle goes on. Hughes. Whittle. Well, that's incredible. Yes! And a Whittle! Blythe coming in for Palace. And this has been their greatest afternoon. And there's Rodgers. Will this be 5? It's going to be 5. It is 5.
It's a day they'll always remember in South London. And of course the big match team wish Graham Roop and vice skipper Bob Willis and the rest of the England team every success in the current Test series in New Zealand. Well, our last match today takes us to Brian Clough territory for the match between the team they're all talking about, Nottingham Forest and Wolverhampton Wanderers. Forest striding away with the title, starting the day 6 points clear. Now in the dark shirts and white shorts, the pictures from ATV commentator Hugh Johns.
Gliding that down, McGovern, Barrett in for Gemmell on the first attack, driving, and With is there. First attack for Forest. George Berry getting his first tackle in and made it positive. Oh, that's sold away, and Gemmell is there. Woodcock and With in each other's way, and there's a goal for With. No! Saved twice by Bradshaw. And that last kick after the ball, I think Derek Richardson didn't like it. And he's calling Peter With over for arguing with him. But that was a diabolical ball back from Palmer. Gemmell got onto it, fed it forward. With and Woodcock got in each other's way. Woodcock shot across the face of the goals, pushed away by Bradshaw. And with an open goal to shoot at, rather as he did on Tuesday night, allowed Bradshaw to make another remarkable save. Bell, and it'll drop for Gemmell. Chased by Carr. Gemmell still going, in for Woodcock. Good try. Woodcock, sure of his own ability to score goals, makes the chance for himself, drives it hard. It's the hardest shot I think Bradshaw's had so far. And Wolves running with the ball. This side of the pitch is the worst area, I think, for rain. Slightly deeper mud here than there is elsewhere. This is Morris Daly. Barrett's ball out of Steve Daly's head. Morris Daly. Bell forcing his way past McGovern, taking on Burns now. Richards, good ball across to hit it. Oh, that was a fine attacking move. Bell forcing his way through, the ball on to Richards. Might have had a shot himself, spotted Hibbert in the clear coming right side, laid it off for him. Hibbert did the right thing, but side netting. With trying to get a turn against Berry. Oh, what a fine ball to Archie Gemmell. He's on his own, 1 against 1. Super reactions, marvellous save by Bradshaw. Well, congratulating Shilton at one end just a moment ago, but that was in world class by Paul Bradshaw. Beautiful ball from With to Gemmell, a fine break. Goalkeeper came a long way off his line. Gemmell a fierce drive, and Bradshaw grabbed it. With Gemmell. Call is there. Hibbert, stab out to Morris Daly. Bell taking on Needham. Needham left for dead. And Richards in as Needham came flying out again. Well, that was a fine run by Norman Bell. Took on Dave Needham in a long run, left it for dead, and almost set a chance up for Wolves. Gemmell. Barrett will lose that to Carr. Now Palmer got himself in a little bit of trouble there. Not quite sure who was around him. So a Forest ball, Barrett with the throw-in. With offers himself again, so it's Barrett. Parkin's header. Palmer's clearance. Anderson got up well. McGovern. Gemmell, and pressure coming from Carr. Robertson with not quite what he intended, but it worked, and Barrett gallops through. And Martin O'Neill scores! No! Woodcock does, and that was rotten hard luck. It's 1-0. 40 minutes of this first half gone. Tony Woodcock gets the credit for the goal. What a fine run by Barrett. His chip across to O'Neill. O'Neill's header looked as though it was going in. Parkin scraped it off the line directly, I think, onto Tony Woodcock's knee, and from there into the net. Bell against Barrett. Long one for Wilf to chase after. Throw in. Robertson again to win. Robertson. That's Palmer. Cross is there. And McGowan has scored a fantastic goal. What an unbelievable goal that was by John McGowan. And Archie Gemmill goes across to congratulate John Robertson. So does McGowan, as well he might. Fine bit of play by Robertson right down to the line, that curling cross in, and McGowan somehow stuck a left boot high in the air to drive a dramatic shot past Bradshaw.
2-0 for Amazing Forest, and that's it. In spite of the weather, what thrills we've been able to bring you again today, and what goal scoring from a man who for several seasons now has a real sure touch in front of goal, Bob Hatton. And this weekend is one he'll look back on with happiness for the rest of his life.
Walsh playing it wide for Hatton to chase, but Waddington is there first. Shouldered off it. Hatton has made room for the shot and scored! Helped back in by Chandler. Hatton, 2-0. And the goalkeeper came for that and didn't get it! And Hatton has made it now! Hatton, number 4!